Hey guys, thanks for joining us today on GeroniMOmoney. In today's episode, we're going to be going over a quick market update and then pivoting to a project that was released in December that we featured in a couple of videos where we think we'll have another run between now and the next AMA. Definitely more upside. And before we pivot into that, there's a lot of content we're going to get into. So not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Always enter into the NFT space at your own risk and peril. So let's go ahead and go over what's on your screen right now, which is the Opensea analytics. Over the past couple of weeks, we've been in somewhat of a lull at $50 million in terms of a support level for transactions on a daily level. Now, a couple of things that pivoted to this kind of shot into the arm over the past couple of days is number one, Bored Ape Yacht Club, one of the premier collections in the NFT space, released their own token. Give you context, it took a little over a year or 9 or 10 months just to actually release the token. And if you're looking at projects that are saying we're releasing a token, always make sure that they are doing their due diligence on the legal front, because if they do it the wrong way, SEC can go after them and then the whole collection is in shambles. Now, pivoting back to Bored Ape Yacht Club, they said, hey, we're gonna airdrop more tokens into our investors' hands for holding, and we could actually reward them for participating in our community. This is really huge in terms of other founders doing this, and also NFT collections that are providing more value for their holders as investors. Now, high level here, they said if you own like a creme de la creme, Bored Ape Yacht Club will drop 10,000 tokens in your wallet. Now, these tokens can be redeemed or they can be converted for Ape token, which currently is trading at $14. If you do the simple math, 10,000 times $14, that's $140,000 in their holders' hands if they wanted to exit and liquidate now, just based off of the token. So the reason I wanted to cover this is number one, Bored Ape Yacht Club, they're doing so much for the NFT space and they're drawing new retail investors in here, but also at a second glance, it's like if anything goes wrong with this collection, then it means really puts other collections at jeopardy, because it's similar to like Bitcoin and the relationship with altcoins or other coins. Bitcoin goes down and then some other coins may not do well. So ApeCoin is really like the litmus test in terms of palatable interest for investors, new and old. And as we kind of unpack this, I mean, I definitely missed the boat on Bored Ape Yacht Club, so I was looking for other collections that have similar foundation and great communities like this. And Pscyehadelics Anonymous, we covered this in previous videos. I'll drop the link below, but that's a great collection that is continually driving more volume and more sales for their initial investors or new ones. Just to give you an idea from a snapshot and glance, this is a really cool statistic. I'd like to share this with you and highlight. So number one, they have generated 7 times more than their initial mint volume in terms of free airdrops to their holders. Now, that is just a staggering stat in terms of this collection is dropping multiple things there that the secondary market will actually buy. There's a lot of collections that are saying like, we'll airdrop this, we'll do more for the collection, and then on secondary sales, there's no appetite for that. So this is a huge litmus test, and this is something you want to look at as an investor in terms of, will the collection actually execute and will the market be receptive to that? Now, there's a lot of information to go over here, and in the diagram, there's a couple things I'm going to highlight. Blue means it's already been dropped, green means it's going to drop, and yellow is the workflow and in terms of how to get there. Now, if this is your first time kind of being introduced to the Pscyehadelics Anonymous collection, it was dropped in last year in December. And just to get the full set, there's 4 NFTs. Your initial investment, let's call it about $1,300. That investment now is worth about $13,000. And then there's 2 NFTs that were released that were free for the holders if you own the whole set, and it was C2 and PAPP. If you add that, the total collection was about $20,000 from that initial $1,300 investment. However, there's a lot going on in the future, and that's why I think that we're going to see another run here from previous market conditions over the past couple of days, more liquidity, but also what's going on in the future for the roadmap. Now, a few things that I'm going to point out is number one, C3 is another NFT collection that they're going to be releasing. To get C3, you need the Genesis collection here, which is at 3.3. So if you're saying, man, that's too much out of my actual kind of entry cost, 3.3 is equivalent to, let's call it $12,000. There's other collections that I'm going to feature in the video that you could still participate in and then see some short-term gains or long-term if you hold long-term. So number one, to make C3, you will need the Genesis collection. You'll also need this thing called the PAPP, and that is called the Pscyehadelics Anonymous printing press. The collection for that is at 1.27 floor price, so you're looking at an initial investment of, let's call it $3,800. Now, you'll also need the Metaverse Pass. And now the Metaverse Pass is a little cheaper in terms of entry price. Let's call it like 0.3 or 0.35. So that means that's typically hovering around about $1,300 or $1,200 for that Metaverse Pass. Now that will create C3. And why do you need C3? Well, the speculation and looking at the Twitter page here is there's going to be an opportunity for investors to upgrade their actual NFT collection to like another cool visual NFT. Just looking at some of the clips and trailers that they posted here, Pscyehadelics Anonymous, like this is an actual kind of content or asset that you look at. The collection, you will be able to upgrade it. And that's the speculative portion from the community here. And why would you want to go over the actual collection? Number one, visually, there will be more gravitas and more pedigree into this. And then you'll also need more NFTs to do this. So there goes that game theory in terms of adding more value to the initial investment. Another thing that's dropping is the Psicilocybin. Psicilocybin, there's been hints that you can use this multiple times. There's a burning mechanism, and burning just means that you'll have to destroy or you'll have to emit some of the NFTs. And to make this, you will have to burn C1, C2, and C3 to use and make psilocybin. So psilocybin is going to be another NFT that's not going to airdrop, but for you as a holder will have to create. And the common theme for this collection is actions have consequences. So it has some fun for investors who are just like trying to do puzzles, or just like there's different theories to this. It's just not a profile picture collection. And then just to give you an idea, right, the parallel between Bored Ape Yacht Club and this, and it's totally different in terms of market cap, but they're also working on releasing their own token for this. It's called the Psi token. The Psi token, you will need C1, which is called component 1, and it's a weighted reward, meaning the longer you hold, the more tokens you will get whenever they release the token. Also, it's based off of qualitative, so the more engaged you are in the community, you'll get more tokens, right? And just looking at Ape token and Bored Ape Yacht Club, that's $140,000. Do I think that it has the potential to do this? Well, we'll see. The risk really in this collection is market sentiment, if they're able to keep their community engaged and if they're able to execute, right? But so far so good between now and when I initially invested in December, and I'm continually adding positions in this at right times for entry prices. Another thing that is really driving up the price of this project is if you hold a Genesis NFT, they're going to drop a VOX. A VOX is just like an avatar that you can use in any of the metaverse lands, and there's already some cool kind of sneak previews to that, and that's going to be free for Genesis collectors or Genesis holders. Another part of this ecosystem is you will need to make something called DEMP, or let's just call it DE. There's speculation that you need DE to upgrade your NFT. To make that, you will need the PAPP. Once again, there's more value in this NFT. You will then need your Genesis. You will have to complete a puzzle, and then you'll need to use the Metaverse Pass, and then use C3. So once again, there's high value, there's market, there's supply and demand, and then if they're able to execute this and the community's still engaged, then that definitely will drive the speculation or the floor price for investors if you want to resell it. And so far, everything that is dropped or been airdropped or created has at least been at a 1 floor price. C2 was at 2 floor price for Ethereum, so that's $3,000, $6,000. And the more we get into this community, I believe everything in baseline, let's call it on a bearish side, conservatively, let's call it 0.75, so maybe $2,500, or even on the high side, C2 was at $6,000 just to get. Another kind of theme is you'll be able to get a PAverse book, Pscyehadelics Anonymous. That's going to be a physical copy of a book, and that will be in department stores. But why would you need that, or why would you want that? Number one, they said that the book will have some type of game theory involved in there as well. When you open the book, there will be such rewards, such as a Pscyehadelics Anonymous Genesis NFT, any of the NFTs that we just went over that are already in blue, or even potentially in green, like Psicilocybin, or maybe even C3, or maybe even side tokens. So there's definitely some risk and gambling to that if you want to do that. And this is still TBD, but the hints and the notes really allude to somewhat of a gamble and then more value for holders. And then once again, why the heck would people want to do this? Well, number one, you can upgrade your NFT to the second collection and make your NFT look sicker. And then that's really where the collection's kind of going in terms of for their whole community investors. So a lot to really unpackage here, but just the net from this is that initial investment, if you did all four, was $1,280. Now today's date, that's worth about $13,000 and change. And then the actual community is still just kicking ass in terms of just being engaged. And then also the secondary market is still buying these things that are being airdropped and created. So just want to let you know, this project has similarities to Bored Ape Yacht Club in terms of just a great community that's being engaged, airdrops that actually have some type of monetary value to them. And then as we're going into these collections, it's always cool to go over new projects, but there's a lot of projects out there that are building things like this that you can definitely position yourself for potential gains. So thanks for watching today's video. I know it was a lot, so feel free to use any of the comment sections below. Feel free to watch the video that we dropped a couple of weeks ago in terms of Pscyehadelics Anonymous. Just to give you an idea, last time I dropped that, Pscyehadelics Anonymous definitely shot up. And for you as an investor, if you wanted to do like a swing trade, you definitely have a window of opportunity to do that between now and the next AMA. So thank you so much. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for our next videos because we're going to be dropping some new projects to check out in the next upcoming weeks. Thanks, and have a great day.